Okay, hello and welcome everyone. I am really so glad that you're here. We have a powerful 3-day webinar and today's is called Understanding Your Journey. So, hi everyone. What inspired you to join this webinar? Would you put that information in the chat so I can kind of understand why you're here? That would be cool. Just a couple of words would be cool. I'm gonna look at that. I'm glad that you're committed to your healing journey. The fact that you've chosen to be here tells me something wonderful, that you're ready for change. And I'm really happy about that, and I congratulate you for that. So you're ready to take steps toward your healing, your resilience, and self-mastery. I'm so excited to have you here for day one. Over the next 3 days, we're going to uncover powerful tools to help you take control of your emotions, gain peace of mind, and step into a more empowered version of yourself. I have a special bonus for those of you who are ready to stay here to the very end. Are you curious? Well, stay to the end, and I think you're going to like it. Okay, I am Marcia Diane, a licensed professional mental health and addictions counselor since 2004. I am also an artist and a spiritual teacher since the 1980s. Excuse me. I am a mother of 2, a grandmother of 3, and most importantly, I am a radiant soul committed to channeling God or source energy, whatever you want to call it, out into the world to uplift women, families, and humankind. So that's my mission, and I'm so glad that you're joining me here to help me on that mission. I used to be a prolific artist and painter, but I lost my studio to my son when he moved back in. But now I'm doing a lot of work on Canva to make posts and, make things all bright and colorful the way I like it. And I hope you like that stuff because that's really fun for me. I like to get my creative juices flowing, but now I'm funneling into my writing, and I've written almost 30 books and 120 blogs, which you can find on my website, marciadiane.com. So I've spent over 20 years helping women like you to overcome emotional triggers, heal from trauma and anxiety and self-doubt, and then learn to embrace their innate beauty and strength. Why do I devote myself to helping women? Because I know firsthand how profoundly trauma can disrupt a life. My life was marked by severe challenges. In my youth, my father was overbearing. Then my mother got sick with cancer for 5 years before she died when I was age 16. And that was very traumatic for our whole family. And as the oldest child, I had to take care of the family. Wasn't prepared for that. And then as an adult, I got married and I ended up getting sexually assaulted and domestic violence, physical abuse, emotional abuse. And all of that was extremely traumatic for me. I knew I had to do something to find ways to change my life, manage my emotions, so I could continue and be happy. But I didn't know how to do that. So that started me on my healing journey. So I know if I can do that, that you can do that. So our agenda for the webinar today is day 1 today, understanding the journey. Day 2 will be building emotional resilience. Equipping you with tools to manage your emotions, navigating challenges, and creating your inner strength. Day 3 is empowerment and self-mastery, taking ownership of your life, setting healthy boundaries, and embracing your personal power is vital. It's important for you to remember that this is a safe space for healing and growth, and you are not alone on your healing journey. That's so important because I did not understand that when I was coming up and learning how to heal myself. So I want to lay down some important guidelines for you today. One is to be present and engaged, so you'll get the most out of it that way. I want this to be a safe space where transformation can happen and you can get the most out of it. So minimize distractions and give yourself this gift of time. Turn your cell phone off and all that good stuff. Respect the space and the people in it. Be kind. We are at all different stages of our healing journey, so you may resonate with some people and not with others. Please keep confidential anything that anybody says that's personal. but that you hear from anybody here. And that said, this is not therapy, so don't put anything in the chat or share anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. And just know that this webinar is being recorded. So if you don't want people to see you on the recording, then just mute yourself or put yourself on your video off so that we don't see you. We will have a Q&A session at the end of today. So if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat and we'll address them in the Q&A. So one of the things I'd like you to do is to set a personal goal, make an intention for a goal for today so that you can get the most out of this webinar. So one thing that I'd like you to do is take a deep breath. I need to do that. So a good way to do it is in through the nose, and out through either your nose or your mouth, and deep into your belly when you breathe in, and then pull your belly in when you're breathing out to expel all the air, and that helps to calm the nervous system. Set an intention for the webinar. I kind of mentioned that earlier to get the most out of it. What do you want to gain from these 3 days? Maybe it's more self-awareness, maybe it's emotional resilience, or just a deeper sense of calm and peace. Whatever it is, write it down so you don't forget, and you can build on that. Keep in mind as we move through this journey together that I truly believe that healing is possible, not just for some, but for you. You deserve to thrive, and I am here to support you every step of the way. I'm so excited about what's going to happen. So, how to get the most out of this webinar? Engage in the community. Healing is amplified when we share and we support one another. Journal your reflections. I encourage you to take notes in your journal or in your computer or whatever way helps you to get the most and not forget things that you're learning in this webinar. And then practice what you learn. Healing isn't just about listening, it's about applying the principles that you are learning. Show compassion to yourself most of all. Growth takes time. Be patient with yourself and honor your own pace. So here's what we're going to cover today. Beginning with today 1, understanding the journey, we're going to cover what are emotional triggers. We'll talk about emotional triggers, what they are, and why they impact us so deeply. Next, we'll explore how anxiety and emotional instability might be affecting your life and what you can do about it. Finally, we'll do a powerful exercise to identify your personal triggers. By the end of the day, you'll have clarity on where you are and your first step toward thriving. So what are emotional triggers? Emotional triggers are specific events, people, or memories that spark a strong emotional reaction. For example, a harsh tone from a coworker might make you feel defensive, or a certain smell, or it might remind you of a painful memory. Why does that matter? Triggers are like emotional shortcuts. They bypass logic and take us straight to an overwhelming emotional state. But the good news is, once you identify them, you can start regaining control. Now let's look at how emotional instability might be affecting your life. Anxiety and emotional overwhelm can show up in many ways, including strained relationships, because you're reacting instead of responding, feeling exhausted and drained from constant worry, the emotional impact of instability. So we're going to look at how emotional instability might be affecting your life. Anxiety and emotional overwhelm can show up in many ways, including strained relationships, because you're reacting instead of responding, feeling exhausted and drained from constant worry, avoiding opportunities or challenges because they feel too overwhelming. Do any of these symptoms resonate with you? Note in your journal any sensations you feel in your body, any emotions that arise when you think about them, thoughts or beliefs that you harbor about yourself, and feel free to share that in the chat if you want to. So let's do an exercise. This is called a 3-minute exercise trigger journal. So now it's time to dig into your personal experience. grab your notebook or your computer document, and I want you to reflect on the past week. Please take 3 minutes to write down the following. One situation where you felt anxious and overwhelmed. What happened before the emotion hit you? And who or what triggered it? What emotion did you feel in that moment? And where do you feel that sensation in your body? Our body holds memories. Our gut holds memories, just like our brain. And some people think our body holds our memories even more deeply than our brain. So I'm going to wait 3 minutes while you take a few minutes to write down these things. And I'll leave this slide up so that you know what to write down. How did you feel during the exercise, and how do you feel now? 3 minutes is not usually long enough to get past to the root of the problem. If you were triggered and need a few minutes to come back into balance, let's give ourselves a big hug to get the oxytocin flowing. That's always a really nice thing to do when you're feeling triggered. And, doing that for a few minutes can really help a lot. Another thing you can do is a quick havening exercise. If you don't know havening, I'm going to teach it to you real quickly. So you put your hands on the opposite shoulders, and then you come down your arms and flick out any negative energy. Cross over to the other side and do the same thing. And you can do this several times. This is called havening. And a lot of people find a lot of comfort and allow their emotions to kind of just calm down when they do that. So I'm going to tell you the story of Jill and her journey through trauma. And we're talking about the power of awareness, how trauma shapes and triggers us, and how we can start to take our control back. So to illustrate this, I'm going to take a look at Jill, a woman whose life was filled with so much stress that even caffeine looked at her and said, "Whoa, girl, you need a Jill." Jill's story started with a familiar pattern, a childhood filled with fear. Her father was strict, controlling, and emotionally abusive. She learned early on that speaking up usually led to punishment, so she stayed quiet to avoid conflict. She kept her emotions locked away. And as many of us do, Jill carried those lessons into adulthood. She married a man who at first seemed like a safe place and an escape. But instead of rescuing her, he became another source of control and pain. But Jill stayed, not because she didn't know that she deserved better. She knew she did, but because she convinced herself that she was doing the right thing for her children. She thought, they need a father. I can handle this. I've handled worse. And then one day, life made a decision for her. Her husband suddenly died of a heart attack. Jill felt many mixed emotions, and of course, she grieved. But at the same time, she felt something else stir inside of her, relief, followed by overwhelming guilt. And then came anxiety, because after years of being told what to do, how to think, and how to feel, Jill realized that she had no idea who she was without someone controlling her. So what was Jill's first challenge? Facing her emotions rather than running away from them. She had spent a lifetime suppressing everything. So when emotions finally had a space to come up, they burst out like an overstuffed closet with a broken door. Fear, guilt, anger, sadness, anxiety, strong emotions came rushing in. But instead of drowning in it, Jill did something different. She started observing her emotions instead of being consumed by them. And here's what she practiced: the name it to tame it method. Instead of saying, I feel horrible, she got specific. I feel anxious right now. I feel guilt because I stayed. I felt sadness because I lost so many years. Naming her emotions and the reasons for it helped her to separate herself from it. Breath work and grounding. Whenever she felt overwhelmed, Jill practiced the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8. This calmed her nervous system and stopped her from spiraling. This is just one of many effective breathing techniques. I'll teach a lot more of them inside my course. And then checking facts. Jill started questioning her thoughts. Was she really too broken to heal? Or was it that just that old belief was trying to keep her stuck? Slowly, she started realizing that her emotions were not her enemy. They were messages telling her that she needed healing. So, facing triggers, let's be honest, just recognizing emotions doesn't mean they're going to stop showing up. Jill had triggers that could send her into a tailspin faster than you can say, family holiday dinner. A raised voice sent her into immediate panic. Feeling ignored created instant self-doubt. Making a mistake was a cue for a regular I'm a failure soundtrack. One day, while paying for groceries, she swiped her card, but it declined. Instant panic. Her heart raced. Her mind shouted, I can't do this alone. I'm failing. I'm helpless. But instead of spiraling, she paused. She asked herself, what am I really afraid of? This is where the magic of reframing limiting beliefs comes in. Here's some of her old and new relief beliefs. Her old belief, I'm not capable of handling things alone, she reframed it into a belief, I'm learning, and I'm stronger than I give myself credit for. Her old belief, I stayed too long, I wasted my life, changed into her new belief, I made the best choices I could at the time. She reminded herself that now I can choose to act differently. With every trigger, Jill practiced reframing her beliefs, shifting from self-judgment to self-compassion. She wasn't as perfect as she wanted to be, but she made progress with every step forward, and that changed everything. Confidence wasn't something Jill found. It was something she built, one small action at a time. As she strived to take new positive actions, she moved from striving to thriving. She did it, and you can do it too. Jill started setting boundaries, even small ones, like saying no without over-explaining, made a difference. She practiced self-care, not the bubble bath kind, although those are really nice too, but real self-care, resting, nourishing herself, and speaking kindly to herself. Jill rewrote her inner dialogue. Instead of, I can't handle this, she would tell herself, I'm figuring it out. What was the best part? Jill realized that she didn't have to be healed to start living. She just had to believe that she was worth the effort. And soon enough, she did. And it felt amazing. So what can you learn from Jill's journey? Healing just isn't about erasing the past. It's about changing the way we respond to it. Awareness is the first step. Name your emotions instead of letting them control you. Triggers are teachers. Question them. Reframe the beliefs behind them. Confidence is built. Small steps lead to big transformations. Jill went from living in fear and self-doubt to standing in her power. If she can do it, so can you. You are stronger than you think. Just keep going. Now that we've identified some of your triggers, let's talk about how to move forward. I created Striving to Thriving because I saw so many women struggling with anxiety, self-doubt, and emotional overwhelm. This program gives you the tools to not just manage your feelings, but to transform them into strength and empowerment. Of course, there will be much more presented in my course than I could possibly share in webinars and on my YouTube videos. There's a lot of YouTube videos with a lot of information if you want to check those out too. So in the program, you will learn how to recognize and regulate your emotions, a framework for rewiring limiting beliefs, and tools for building confidence and resilience. And you don't have to do it alone. You'll have a community of like-minded women, and you'll have direct support from me in live weekly Zoom sessions. If you believe your life will improve with what I have to offer, then jump on this opportunity as soon as possible. Today, I'm offering an exclusive bonus that will not be offered again. When you sign up by the end of this webinar series, that means 1 minute to midnight on Sunday night, March 2nd, you will receive a one-on-one counseling session with me for you to kickstart your journey. My time is precious, as is yours. I normally charge $200 to $500 per session, but I'm offering this for you if you sign up by the end of Sunday. The offer is limited to 10 women only, so please hurry and sign up today. Don't wait to step into the life that you deserve. So I'm going to open up this Q&A segment by answering some frequently asked questions first. Then I'll look in the Q&A window and answer your questions in order. So if you have any questions, now's the time to put it in. Some people ask, how much does this program cost? I'll cover all the purchasing options at the end of day 3. The whole program costs less than 3 therapy sessions, and there are tons of bonuses. There are parts of my program that fit all budgets. So some people say, I'm not sure I can afford the full program right now. And I say, this course offers life-changing tools and insights that can lead to long-term personal growth. Consider the value that you will receive in return for your investment. And consider the cost of not taking action, staying stuck where you are right now. You will be investing in your most important asset, you. The long-term benefits will surely outweigh any short-term financial sacrifices. Some people say, I've tried similar courses before and they didn't work for me. I say, this course takes a unique approach tailored to your specific needs, offers fresh insights and techniques, some that have never been taught anywhere else. I'm updating my offerings and lessons all the time because I am one of those nerds that just loves learning how to do new things that make all of us feel better and make me feel better and be better. And so as I learn to do new effective things, I will share those with you. Some people say, I'm not sure it'll work for me. I say many others were skeptical at first, but they found significant benefits after practicing the techniques that I teach in this course. And we have a money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose by giving it a try and everything to gain. So now let's get to your questions and comments. Well, that's a great question. The program is 6 modules, and you can take it at your own pace. You could take a year to do it. It's really designed to be done in a week with just 10, 15, 30 minutes a day, depending upon how much time you have. There's videos, there's audios, there's spiritual exercises, and there's a lot of information. But you know, it depends on you. It depends on the person, how much effort they put in, how much discipline they have. Some of the exercises are real fun and easy, and some of them are kind of challenging, like the ones we did today to identify your triggers. Because when you identify your triggers, sometimes emotions come up and that can be challenging. So some people, you know, shut down and don't come back for a couple of days because they're triggered. But, you know, I always have people journal so you can express. One of my sayings that I like to say is that expression is the antidote for depression. So if you ever start feeling depressed, you can just start expressing through art therapy, through journaling, through talking to peers in the group. Because part of the program is a community of women that are going through the same things that you are, have had similar experiences, but they're all going through the training together. So it really depends on the individual. How much is live? Is it all recorded previously? So much of the program is recorded previously. All of the lessons that address certain issues are pre-recorded, but there will be 1 live session per week for 1 hour. And in that time, you can ask questions. You can always put your questions in the chat in the Facebook group, and then I'll address that on the live session. I'm also going to be opening up after people take the program, because I think the program is super powerful, and most people, that's all they need. But if some people absolutely are destitute and can't afford it, I do have a book for $27, very reasonable cost, that gives all of the information that's in the program. So that's a cheap way of doing it, but you won't get the community, you won't get the lives, you won't get the feedback from me. And it's just kind of a down and dirty way of getting the information, but it's got a lot of cool stuff in it. If a person does the program and feels that they need more, I will have group coaching sessions and even individual sessions. And all of that will be explained at the end of the seminar and the webinar on Sunday. So we've got really an array of programs that are available to help people at wherever they're at. Some people need a lot of help. Some people need just a tiny bit. Some people don't need any. But I know even when I was in, my spiritual program for years, I still needed a lot of help. And I didn't necessarily know it. I just knew I was anxious or didn't have confidence in certain areas of my life. Certain areas I had tons of confidence, certain areas not. We're just all different. So any other questions or comments? So do you have scholarships where you can pay half if you're retired and on a limited income? We don't have a scholarship program, no. We are going to have, you can pay over you can pay 3 times. So you can pay once, and then when you have the next small amount, you can pay then. But if you're retired, hopefully you're collecting Social Security, and this is way less than Social Security. The weekly Zoom Q&A webinars to be held every Friday at 2 p.m. or will they be at different times? So the webinar today is at 12 noon Mountain Time and 2 p.m. Central Time. No, it'll be at a different time because I'm still going to do lives for 1 hour on Friday. That will be for our Facebook groups and they'll be free. But what's inside the program will be specifically addressing the things that we're learning in the program. So more advanced stuff. So it'll be at a different time. And I'm not sure exactly when that'll be at. But there'll always be replays.